A friend of mine wrote a book one time, um, and it was titled "Recapturing the African Mind" by Dr. Bruce Bridges. Recapturing the African Mind. He went over actually to Africa, studied. He talked about the skin bleaching cream and all that he saw, uh, and how that was, of course, came from westernization, what they saw, or wanting to not understanding the power and the significance and the importance of melanin versus looking at white skin and thinking that white skin is pure, given the indoctrination that they've had, not knowing of all the illnesses, as you mentioned, Fazell, the illnesses that come along with being light skinned, white skinned, being in the sun. I'm gonna say this last piece. When you look at nature and you look at trees and you look at the green, the foliage, it's very, I don't know of a lot of foliage that's white. When you look at the jungles and the bush, it's green.
Nothing. Yeah.
Tell them that the green is just like the melanin in the skin. It has a biological function to the plant, to the tree. And we use the sunlight as energy. We even, like plants, have the ability to go through photosynthesis. That research is out there. And it was done by a Mexican scientist back in about 2007. So we as blacks go through photosynthesis just like a plant does. And the plants are green, the foliage is green. If it's white, it lacks nutrients. That's why when you see, and you've seen it, the albino tiger, the white tigers, you never see them in the wild. They're in zoos because they couldn't survive in the wild. Because genetically, they're not as strong. That goes back to understanding white genetic survival. That's the key. White, if you want to really start teaching, get the book by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. The what is it? It's the ISIS papers, Keys to the Colors. She was a psychiatrist. So she was trained. She was a professor. And in all her studies, it came down to all the symbols that exist. She even talked about playing billiards. And at the end of the day, it's the white ball that knocks the black ball off last to clear the table. The psychology behind that. So you want to talk about transformational thinking and the symbols, and read her book and use her book as a tool to teach, to understand that everything they do is about white genetic survival. So I'm going to pass policy that's going to limit you. I'm going to my neighborhood is going to be behind a gate where you can't get to me. That's the challenge here in the States. Is the challenge here in the States is the fact that, I guess you're going to call it desegregation, but race mixing. The someone white marrying someone black, right? And they call them biracial. I said, no, they're not biracial, because DNA doesn't come down 50-50. It comes down 51-41 and dominant. And it goes back to Gregory Mendel, the biologist, who said you can get the recessive from the dominant, but you can't get the dominant from the recessive. Those are things that have to be taught. Brown eyes are dominant, blue eyes are recessive. That's the biology of it all. And that's the scientific fact of it all. That's what the creator created. So that's what the truth is. All the other stuff doesn't matter.
Wow.